Hello my stinky little friends, and welcome back to another video. I have fantastic news for everybody gathered here today, and that is this week, all week, is supposed to be colder, grumpy, and raining. Which to me means that all of the manifesting I did in my last video has worked. Fall is officially here in the middle of August, and it definitely has nothing to do with the Cat 5 hurricane that is hurtling towards the East Coast. It's all me. I did it by manifesting fall and making pumpkin cheesecake syrup. But regardless of how we got here, I want to spend this week reading some spooky, witchy, gothic books. But to do that, first we have to go and purchase some spooky, gothic, witchy books. So let's go to the bookstore and see what we can find. Hey Stinkies, good morning. Let's talk about the two books that I picked up. The first book is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandanna. This one is a sequel to A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which I read last year and really enjoyed. This book centers Sarah, a witch who resurrected her Aunt Jasmine and in doing so lost almost all of her magical powers. And now her and Jasmine are running an inn together, which is full of quirky guests, a talking fox, and one very handsome historian named Luke. If this book is anything like its predecessor, it's going to be very entertaining, heartwarming, and also very, very cozy. Going off of just the blurb itself, I'm already invested. I love an inn, a good bed and breakfast. I feel like very few things are cozier than running an inn. It's giving me Lorelai Gilmore vibes. I feel like this is going to be very cozy. I'm excited. The second book that I picked up is A Theory of Dreaming by Ava Reid, which is actually the sequel to another book that I read last year and absolutely loved, which is A Study in Drowning. This book was the perfect book to read on a rainy day. It did unfortunately get mixed reviews online, but maybe I'm biased. Give me a rainy, desolate island with sharp cliffs and a stormy, moody sea, and I'm in. I could care less what the actual plot is. I love it. I love it already. 5 stars. That being said, I still loved the plot of this one. It had academia themes, folklore, and romance. I'm just really, really excited to read the sequel, and I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, it brings the same atmospheric, gothic, moody vibes that the first one did. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I want. Plus, look at these edges. They're gorgeous. These are absolutely gorgeous. I've been using this one as like my display book forever, and so now I just have another one. Books on a book. Revolutionary. I'm gonna start with A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, but first I'm going to make a pumpkin chai. I'm gonna take a quick break from reading to do some watercoloring with my mum. She actually bought the same watercolor workbook that I have, and so we thought it would be nice to work on them together over FaceTime. I don't think I've read enough of the book to give you guys a reading update yet, but I will say that I'm really enjoying it so far. Immediately, the plot has just like grabbed me. It's very interesting. It's got really strong practical magic vibes, and I love that. I'm very excited about that. I'm about 160 pages into the book, and I wanted to give a little reading update. I am honestly having the best time reading this book. It reads so quickly, it's very entertaining, very cozy, and I think my favorite aspect so far is the dynamic between all of the different characters and their personalities. So the book centers Sarah, who lost her magic at 15 years old when she resurrected her Aunt Jasmine, and in doing so she accidentally used too much of her magic and lost it. Sarah was then kicked out of the Magic Guild because the resurrection spell that she used was illegal, and also because Albert Gray, this hotshot guild guy, is a conniving and jealous freak, and he was especially jealous of Sarah because prior to the resurrection, she was an extremely powerful young witch. In terms of like power, she was his only equal, and so her losing her power and being kicked out of the guild means that he is the most powerful witch. By kicking Sarah out of the guild, it means that she no longer has access to the materials that she would need to bring back her power. So he's basically just like cutting her off and taking all the power for himself. The inn that Sarah and her Aunt Jasmine run is a magical inn, and the only people that can find this inn are people who desperately need to find it. And so we meet Sarah again 15 years later after the resurrection incident, where she's been running this inn for the last 15 years, and it's just become this hodgepodge of quirky characters and different animated animals. There's a talking fox who's actually a witch who was cursed, and a skeletal rooster who Sarah accidentally brought back to life when she was resurrecting her Aunt Jasmine. Then we are introduced to Luke, who is the romantic interest of the book. Him and his younger sister Posy are in desperate need of the inn, and so they find it, and now they're staying there. And at this point in the book, he has just started to help Sarah with the process of learning the spell and helping her to gather all the ingredients to get her magic back. I'm really loving that both Sarah and Luke are grumpy, because usually with romance books there's like the grumpy sunshine trope, but this one is just grumpy. The reason I like it and the reason that I think they fit so well together is because neither of them, they both come across as grumpy, but they are both the biggest sweethearts to the people that they love, and they're just so kind and big-hearted. Like, for example, Luke said, "Leave me out of it, I want nothing to do with helping you to get your magic back," and then 2 pages later he's driving her 2 hours to get an ingredient. So I'm loving that relationship dynamic. And then I also really empathize with Sarah because she was raised as a child prodigy. Like, her power levels were so strong, and she was raised gifted and talented, and basically overnight that was stripped away from her, that was taken away, and she's still struggling even 15 years later with that feeling of she feels like she's worth less because she cannot be as powerful as she was supposed to be. She no longer has the ability to achieve everything that she thought that she was going to. I also wanted to talk about how perfect the magic system is in this book. I feel like a big issue that standalone cozy fantasies have is making their magic systems too complicated. I think I've spoken about this before. If you have a 300-page standalone fantasy, the magic system should just be very, very simple, because if you overcomplicate it, then that's half of the book spent trying to explain and understand this magic system when that shouldn't be the entire plot. But I'm loving how simple the magic system is in this book. Each different witch has a way that magic feels for them. For Sarah, it feels like the night sky, it's full of stars. And then for Luke, it feels like a library with all the dusty old books. And it just matches each different person's personality. And then the way that they use the magic is simply through spells, through different spell books. They can either memorize the magic, or they can read it from the spell book, or create a spell using different ingredients. And then it also has this aspect where magic is almost like it's alive, it's a playful thing. In itself, the magic is constantly evolving to play new tricks on everyone. For example, it lets Sarah know when the roof is about to leak, or every Sunday in one certain room, it rains jasmine tea for an hour and then is completely gone. So it's almost like magic is its own entity and has its own personality, which is really nice. And I like that it's simple, and I like that it's very cute and very cozy. But I am absolutely loving this book so far, and I'm excited to read some more this afternoon. I am in the mood to do some colouring though, so I think I'm going to listen to it on audiobook while I do some colouring. Specifically, there's this one rainy day colouring page that I really, really want to do. It's this one. How cute is that? And it's perfect for the weather outside. finished the book. And before I tell you how I felt about it, I want to say that I misspoke at the beginning of this video. This definitely isn't a sequel to The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. It's set in the same world, but they are both completely standalone. Now that I've cleared that up, this was a 5-star read for me. This was incredible. This was what I'm talking about when I say I want a cozy romance, a cozy fantasy romance. This is exactly what I'm looking for. It was low stakes in that nobody got hurt, really badly hurt, but it was high stakes in that I cried multiple times. It was one of those books that really just reminds you of all the good in the world, and it made my heart feel so full while I was reading it. It is a beautiful story about grief and loss and depression, and how you are a million different versions of yourself who all had to get up, brush themselves off, and keep going to get to the point where you are now, and how you are so much stronger than you give yourself credit for, because every time someone or something pushes you down, you get back up again, and you're still here and you're still fighting. It was a story about found family and forgiveness and acceptance of who people are and meeting them where they're at. And it did all of that while just being such a cozy, heartwarming book. 5 stars, easy 5 stars. I loved this. And I have a couple quotes that I would like to read to you guys. It doesn't spoil the plot or anything like that. Marvelous work, Clemmy said to Sarah. I was just thinking this morning that what we really needed in our lives was not a new fireplace or a nice car, but in fact, a resurrected fucking rooster. And then these other quotes just made me cry. I will love you with or without your magic, Sarah. You will always be enough for me, just as you are. Oh, this book destroyed me. When she thought about it, the truth was that what she had now was worth so much more than she'd had before. The magic of her past had been a gift, but the magic of her present had been earned. I'm gonna fucking cry again. I'm gonna cry again. Oh, I loved this book. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here, but thank you so much for joining me on this grumpy, rainy week of reading. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again soon with another video.